Hi, and welcome to another episode of House Smarts. I'm Lou Manfredini. Thanks so much for joining us. We have a lot coming up on today's show, but specifically, we're going to be talking about tankless water heaters. I've been talking about these things for years, and I'm finally going to put my money where my mouth is. Our regular tanked heater has gone out, so we're going to spend the day putting this bad boy in. So I had my friend Matt the plumber come out and help us today putting in this water heater. I've known Matt for a long time, and he's been a plumber for over 25 years, and so he knows this stuff.
We talked about it beforehand, so we do have a plan, and we'll wing it if something isn't going the way it should, because a lot of these are you really have to customize them. This one is pretty easy compared to some of them I've done.
After we removed the old water heater, we had to find the right location for the new Tankless. We're anchoring it to the basement wall with the bracket that came with it and concrete anchors. The key is to think through all the connections so it's in the spot where all the pipes and vents can reach it with the least amount of work. That's easier said than done. There's a lot of connections. This really is a professional level project.
You need a gas supply, you need a cold water supply, a hot water outlet that's going to actually feed the home. You need a condensate line, which is a little bit different because these work at such high efficiency that they create condensation. So think about your gas furnace. You've got that little drain that comes off the side. Well, a tankless unit with this kind of capacity has the same thing. You also have a pressure relief valve that goes off the side, and that's it.
Probably the exhaust is the hardest to
Maneuver?
Yeah, maneuver, and it's the biggest, and I can work the water around it.
Okay.
So just like doing regular plumbing, you do the waste in the vent, the waste in the vent first.
Get that big stuff out of the way. So this is our exhaust. So actually, this isn't so bad, right? We can come off of here and drop down.
Yeah, it's not as forgiving.
Right. Maybe do you want to bring the intake over here as well, or do you want to come
down?
down?
We'll try a couple different things. We'll dry fit it, and then we'll try and see what looks the best, and then we'll take everything else into consideration.
Early on, they had these very expensive stainless steel venting kits, and you had to mount it on an outside wall. And that was a challenge for a lot of residential applications here in the US. But now, it's moved so quickly that they have plastic venting available, which is the same as the one we're putting in. There's an intake that's a 3-inch line and an exhaust that's a 3-inch line. So it makes the installation a lot quicker and where you place it a lot more manageable. But you gotta make sure that you dry fit it first. You know, you're gonna glue all this together, and you wanna make sure that you cut everything in place, do a few measurements, and make sure it's nice and straight and right and tight, and then you can take it apart and glue it all together. That looks pretty good right there. That's the exhaust. All right, we're ready to glue that puppy together. So I'm pretty excited about getting this tankless water heater installed, but there were some challenges that we had to overcome. I mean, the one thing is we have a large family, and just a few years ago, there weren't tankless water heaters that could do the type of capacity that we needed in this family because we were doing multiple things at once, you know, whether it's washing the dishes or washing machine and then taking showers. But now technology has changed, and the way that these heaters are made by different manufacturers, they offer more gallons per minute. So I was really excited when I saw that happen.
Once we fit and connected all of the venting, the process for the water lines is very similar. Working our way through the connections for the water intake and the outflow lines step by step. Matt is fitting some of the pipes to the shutoff valves. He prefers using Teflon paste over the tape.
I just prefer the paste form. It goes on a little easier, smoother. You can put a little more, you can put a little less. You can, has the brush on it, so you can put, it's easy to put on bigger fittings, it's easy to put on littler fittings. When you're using the tape, it's just, you know, the thickness, what you have is what you have.
You know, good copper piping can be a work of art. Matt was nice enough to fit all the connections and then let me have the fun part, sweating the pipes. The process for our gas line was pretty similar to the venting and water lines. Fit it, then connect it.
A lot of times you actually have to talk to your gas company to increase the size of the gas meter because these things, when they run, use a lot of BTUs. As a matter of fact, the unit that we're installing today, when it's operating, uses 200,000 BTUs to heat that water. To give you a point of reference, the average residential furnace that heats your home uses about 100,000 BTUs of energy when it operates. So these heaters operate at almost twice that amount. But remember, when they're off, they're off. You know, tankless water heaters offer a lot of benefits. I mean, first off, remember, Europe's been heating their water this way for over 80 years. The US here has just gotten on board over the last 10, maybe 15 years. We wanted to do something that provided us with endless hot water. I mean, 20 people can take a shower one after another, and always have hot water. We have a large family, and on Sunday mornings, I'm always the one left taking the cold shower when we're all getting ready to head off to church or some activity. So I wanted to do something that saved us money on our energy bills and gave us the continuous hot water. Now, it needs to be sized correctly, but when they are, you get those benefits, saving money and endless hot water.
You can never assume anything. It's always a good idea to make sure that the water heater actually turns on. Check. Boy, it would be a shame to have to redo all of this.
All right, so Matt and I are gonna keep working on the water heater, but right now, you take a look at this green piece.